Okay. So what I was trying to tell is Sanjaya is talking to Dhritarashtra and he is explaining what is happening in the Bhagavad Gita, like between Krishna and Arjuna. So this verse is actually spoken by Sanjaya. It is not spoken by Krishna to Arjuna directly. It is spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. Let us see now what is that verse. So one of you should volunteer to repeat after me. Um, Suman Prabhu, can you do it? Not sure if you can. Okay.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Okay. So let us, I will read and then you can recite after me. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno,
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno,
Yatra Partho Dhanundara,
Yatra Pato Dhanundara,
Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir,
Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir,
Dhruva Nitir Matir Mamaha.
Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama.
Okay, so here, what is Sanjay trying to tell to Dhritarashtra? He's telling that wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also be certainly opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. So here there is two things. Okay, firstly, there is Krishna, who is God Himself, directly present, and there is Arjuna, who is extremely good at archery, and also he is perfectly surrendered to Krishna, and he is wanting to execute the will of Krishna. See, in our lives, we try to plan something, it might fail. Correct? We might have so many experiences like we'll think that okay, I'll complete my deadline, my work deadline within this time, but it will not happen. So that can happen, or something which we didn't plan, that can happen to us. Like suppose we got fever or something like that, that can happen. We didn't plan and it came. So in our life, we plan for certain things that may not execute, and sometimes things will come to us which we didn't plan only. But for Krishna or God, it is not the case. Whatever Krishna desires, that always happens. And Arjuna here is like the devotee who is totally surrendered to the Lord, and he is trying to execute the mission of the Lord in this world, which is to defeat the Kauravas and to establish Dharma. So when that combination comes in, there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is what actually Sanjay is telling. So wherever there is a devotee who is trying to, who is surrendered to the Lord, that is the requirement there, and basically they are executing the mission of the Lord. And because Lord Himself is the controller of the entire world, how do we know this? There is another verse. The Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashah Ahankara Vimudatma Karta Ahamiti Manyate. So Prakriti is actually the one which is carrying out things in this world. And foolish person thinks he is doing. This is what Krishna is telling in one of the verses. He's telling that Prakriti is only actually carrying out everything. And we are thinking we are doing. That's what Krishna is telling. And then there is one more verse which he tells, which where Krishna tells, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyatesa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. So under my direction, this entire prakriti is actually doing its all the course of actions. So Krishna is totally in control of this world because he created this world. For him, it's like playing a toy or something like that. You understood now what I'm saying? So that is what is Krishna or God. Correct? He created this entire world. Everything can run according to his will. So that is for Krishna. For us, it may not be true. We may make some plans, it may fail, like that. That and all can happen. Okay. And so here there is one more person who is Arjuna. Arjuna is like a living entity, Jiva. So you must have heard the differences between all these already. God and living entity, they are different actually. If you have heard, they must have been covered by now. So the living entity, then there is Supreme Lord. So here the living entity has completely surrendered to the Lord. Whatever is Lord's plan, he is trying to execute in this world. So therefore, there is no question of defeat and all of that. Opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is what we can see. Now, is it true that always in every action this will happen? May not be. Even if you see Pandavas, they faced so many challenges in the during the course of the entire Kurukshetra war. But eventually, the Lord's plan only will work out. So, of course, now we'll get into more details a little later. But before this is just the introduction. We will read the purport and then I'll get back into it more detail. Okay. So let us read the purport. Um, so the Bhagavad Gita began with the enquiry of Dhritarashtra. He was hopeful for the victory of his sons, assisted by great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. He was hopeful that the victory would be on his side. But after describing a scene on the battlefield, Sanjaya told, "You are thinking of victory, but my opinion is that where Krishna and Arjuna are present, there will be good fortune." He is directly confirmed that Dhritarashtra could not expect a victory for his side. So that's what here we are seeing. Victory was certain for the side of Arjuna because Krishna was there. So this is the point. In fact, Krishna tells in the start of the Bhagavad Gita only, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachi. What he's telling to tell is, I already completed, killed Duryodhan. I already killed all these people. You don't know that is just through my time energy. I have already killed all of these people. You just take the credit. That's what. So here, actually, there are three types of philosophies which can be discussed. Okay. So the first philosophy is called as Karmavad. Karmavad means I can achieve anything by my endeavor. This is called Karmavad. If you see, typically the whole world today runs on this principle. They think that I can make my will, I can make my destiny. Everything depends on my willpower, like all of that. So that is actually called as Karmavad. Okay. Another section of people, like they are currently not so much there, but they say everything is Daivavad. This is called second philosophy, which is Daivavad. Daivavad means that God only does everything, so I did not do anything. So even this is not a correct philosophy. I will come to what is the correct philosophy. So I'll tell you one small story to explain what is Daivavad. So once upon a time there was a village and there was a lot of rains in that village. So and then the entire village was getting flooded. So there was one person who was just standing in between and like water was coming from all sides and all of that. Now what was happening is like different people were running away. They were taking boats and all of that. So one boat came by and then they told, sir, please get inside the boat. There is danger outside. But then this person told, no. Actually, God will save me. I am praying to God. So God will definitely save me. You go, you go. I don't need you. So then the boat went away. So then another time what happened? Then the rains increased. Then the water came to up to his neck. And then at that time another boat was coming. So then again the second boat they shouted, sir, this is the last boat. If you miss this boat, there is no other boat remaining. If you want, you get inside now only. But then the person told, actually, no, God will save me. Don't worry, I'm praying to God. You please go. Like that. So then, are you sure, sir? This is the last boat. Yeah, I'm sure. So then the boat went away. Then the water was filling. Almost when he was about to get submerged, that time one helicopter appeared. Sir, they threw the rope below. And then through the rope, they told, sir, you just catch this rope. I will pull you up. Just take this rope and I will pull you up. That's what they were shouting. But then this person told, no, God will save me. You go. So then that helicopter also went away. And finally, you know what happened? The person died. And when he died, he was very angry. He went to the God. So this is just a story. This is given. So he went to God and he was like shouting, Are, I had so much trust on you. I was praying to you constantly, but you didn't protect me. That's what he was trying to tell to God. Then God was telling that, actually, I only sent you that boat. I only sent you the second boat, also the last boat. And then I only sent you the helicopter, but you were not willing to take the help. So this is what we can see. People who have this Daivavad mentality, basically they think they did not do anything. Everything God will do. That is also not correct. So the third philosophy is the correct philosophy. This is actually the Vedic paradigm. This is called as Kartavyavad. Kartavyavad means I do my best, the duty, and then further whatever happens is taken care by God. So this is actually called as Kartavyavad. So the wrong philosophies are Karmavad, Daivavad. The correct philosophy is Kartavyavad. And if you see the entire Vedic paradigm, this is what is actually given. Now Kartavya means duty. Now in general, in the Vedas and in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is telling Kartavya, he is talking about the duties according to scriptures. So suppose somebody is saying that I'm going to sell cigarettes, to make profit. That cannot be considered as duty because he's actually causing harm to the people. So duty means duty according to the scriptures. So when we try to do that duty properly, then whatever result comes is by God's endeavor. So there is one nice statement which is do your best and leave the rest to God. So here Arjuna is trying to fight the battle on the behalf of Pandavas for the sake of establishment of Dharma, and therefore he was doing actually God's work. Correct? So when he's trying to do that, so he's trying his best in all the he has learned archery. In fact, Arjuna is called as Gudakesh. One of the reasons why he's called as Gudakesh is he doesn't sleep at night. So what he's doing, sir, in the night? He is actually in the morning, he is actually learning everything from the guru, and in the night he's continuously practicing it. So that is what Arjuna is. So he's so dutiful, he's trying his best, but he's also remembering God in the heart. So, my dear devotees, we have to also be like this in this world. We have to do our duties, which are there, but we should also cultivate a relationship with God in the heart. And then we will, further, whatever happens is actually taken care by God. So, do your best and leave the rest to God. This is what is, there is one more verse also which says, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. So, remember me and then fight this war. This is what Krishna tells. So then we may ask, sir, while fighting the war, how can we remember you? How is that possible? Like, I mean, if I'm fighting the war, I actually have to focus on the war, right? Similarly, when we are having so many duties, we have some duty towards parents, we have some duty towards so many people around. So when we are doing that duty, how can we remember God? Is it really possible? So the answer is we do those duties for God. That is how you can remember God. So for example, if some uh, person is raising children, then basically he can raise the children for so that they can also learn about God, about Krishna consciousness, about God consciousness, and that is the main duty. And of course, we will also take care of the child. Similarly, when we are in our offices, or even let us say when we are in our college or whatever, wherever we are, we behave ourselves in such a way that people actually understand how a devotee of God is. So that itself is a big service. In fact, I remember when I worked in my previous company, I used to be one of the most punctual and like of course that nothing is. I used to be like when I was in my college, I used to roam around with knicker and all of that. But devotees saved me and they taught me Krishna consciousness, and that actually made me very responsible in my jobs. So when I was responsible in my job, that attracted people actually. So then one of the devotees, actually one of the person whom I know, he became a devotee because he appreciated this quality. So the whole point is we have to do our duty very nicely for the sake of God, for the sake of Krishna, like that. So that is what is actually karma yoga. This is what here we are seeing. So here we can continue reading. So just 1 minute, I wanted to show you one more paragraph. Yeah. In Bhagavad Gita, the five principal subject matters have been discussed, which is Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, material nature, Prakriti, living entities, Jiva, eternal time, Kala, and all kinds of activities, which is basically karma. Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Kala, and Karma. This is what you learned in the Bhagavad Gita. It is hopefully was taught. So there is a clear description on who is God, and the different aspects of God. Like for example, there are like so here you can see God can be realized in three forms. One is impersonal Brahman, which is basically the light, and also there is Paramatma, who is there in everyone's heart, and also there is Bhagavan realization, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna himself directly in his own form. So we also saw how Krishna is different from the Jivas. Like Jivas are the very small part and parcel of God. So even though we are in quality one with God, but we are actually in quantity, we are insignificant. God is infinite. So these topics we have learned. So what is our eternal nature? Our eternal nature is to serve God. In all the things which we do, we should try to serve God. So these things we learned, and we also learned about yoga, all these things. So this is the summary of this, the entire Bhagavad Gita. These are the topics actually. And what is material nature? How material nature tries to drag us down to through modes of nature. But when we surrender to Krishna, then we actually come out of these material modes. So these are all we learned. Okay. So yeah, the living entity in his original position is pure spirit. He is just like an atomic particle of the supreme spirit. Yes. So this is what we have to try to understand. Living entity is also soul. Krishna is also soul, but there is difference. The difference is we are Atma. Krishna is Paramatma. We are Ishvara. Krishna is Parameshvara. I'm just putting my phone, laptop on charging. Um, and we are Brahman, and then Krishna is Parabrahman. So this difference we should know between God and us. and then what is Prakriti, what is Kala, and what is Karma. So this is the actually the short uh, summary of what is Bhagavad Gita teaching us. So I hope you learned all of these things in these classes. Um, so yeah, that's all for today actually. So if you have any questions, anything like that, we can discuss because today is the last session. Anything which you felt that I should ask um, in the course of these classes or even today's class. Today we just saw one small thing. What is that? Wherever there is Krishna, who is God, and then wherever there is a devotee who is surrendered totally toward to God and who is executing the will of God, then there is no scope of failure. It's only opulence, victory, and of course it may not happen immediately, but it will happen eventually. That is what we actually saw. So any questions, comments, anybody? And we also saw what is the five topics of Bhagavad Gita. These were actually taught in bits and pieces in many, many verses. What is Prakriti and all of that. So, any questions? Any questions about today's class or previous classes? Anything? So, I hope you learned about the three types of philosophies which exist: the Karmavad, the Daivavad, and Kartavyavad. Um, so we should actually become followers of Kartavyavad, and we actually do things for God's pleasure. Uh, that way, we will actually um, grow both in our spiritual life and also materially. Also, you will see that things will become better. So one, if you don't have any questions, I will just bring out one question and then we'll end. So one question can be asked is, okay, now Jatayu is there. You all know Jatayu, right? So he actually fought with Ravana and to protect Mother Sita. So here you can see Jatayu is a surrendered devotee of the Lord, and he is actually fighting with Ravana and to protect Sita or to unite Sita with Lord Ram. That is, you can say Lord's will only. So one may ask, like, okay, then how is it that he met with a defeat? So for this, you have to read Ramayan more carefully. So Ramayanam explains that Jatayu already knew that he will get killed by Ravana. He was old, first of all, and he already knew that Ravana would kill him. And when he is fighting, his main objective itself was not to defeat Ravana. So Ravana he's a very intelligent person, Ravana, by the way. He actually chose a particular time to take Sita away. So that time is called as Vijaya Muhurtam, something like that, where if a person does any karya, any activity, he will meet with success. So he was trying to take Sita in that particular Muhurtam so that he can be successful and there won't be any obstacles. So the Jatayu's whole and sole purpose was to delay Ravana as much as possible so that the Muhurtam will pass off. You get what I'm saying? So he was trying to, of course, he knows that Ravana will defeat him or something like that, but he was trying his best to delay this particular Muhurtam. And actually, he was successful in that. So, see, eventually, Lord's plans will work and Lord's will work in this world. So, we become a small instrument, just like Arjuna also became an instrument. Of course, even Pandavas also faced a lot of defeats in between, but eventually, Dharma gets established. That's what we will see. So, I just wanted to clarify that in case anybody got that doubt. Okay, if nobody has any questions, we can end. If you have any questions, you can tell. Otherwise, we can end. Anybody? Ravi Verma Mahaprabhu has graced this Zoom call. Actually, he should be giving the class. He is a much more senior devotee than me. And yeah, thank you, Hemant Prabhu, Leela Krishna Prabhu, Saket Prabhu, Suman Prabhu. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll end the meeting now.